keep going. Because I'm telling you, man, I can name 20, 30 niggas and my homies is dead. I'm here, though. And I'm going to say some shit that, like, this is documented. You know, I got a TED Talk. I forgave my brother's killer. And I'm saying it to say this. Nigga that killed my brother. My brother died in my grandma's arms. In that fucking house that we grew up in. Nigga shot my brother. He ran to the house. He died in Nanny arms when she opened the door. So I'm telling you this some real shit, man. If I ain't let that shit go, I won't be right here today. I won't be here for my niece and my nephews. Me and Gil won't be doing this. Y'all won't know me. I won't be able to give y'all this game. But I had to leave. I had to let that shit go. And when I let that shit go, nigga, I started to grow. And I started to glow. And now I'm here today, and it was harder than a motherfucker, man. And I'm talking about this my big brother, nigga. I shared the cell with him. I shared the bed with him when we was fucking kids. This little Steve.
Only _wireless, please make sure you include the underscore, and this is only _wireless TV. Of course, please subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and hit the like button for your mans and them. And don't forget to check out the Patreon link in the description. And don't forget to check out the Fire Breathing Dragon Files mixtape in the description. I just uploaded the mixtape about 2 weeks ago. Check that out, man. While those words went in one ear and right out the other, he sat there and told that boy that he needed to let it go. And obviously, when you're looking at life in prison for murder for hire, you didn't let it go. This is the way my mind works. I had to get the chronology right. I had to get the chain of events, the sequence of events. I had to get that shit right before I could put together something that resembles a script. If Von doesn't get killed, Durk doesn't get arrested. If Von doesn't pull up on Rondo, Durk doesn't get arrested. If Von doesn't have beef with NBA Youngboy because of Janaea, NBA Youngboy's baby mom, Von doesn't get killed and Durk doesn't ultimately get arrested for murder for hire. So that shit might seem a little convoluted, but it's really not if you just listen. I had to understand what would make, or I wanted to understand, because I'm not sure if I fully do, but I'm trying to understand what would make Durk do it, like what would make him involve himself. And I think not being too familiar with Durk the artist or Durk the human being, because I didn't watch a whole lot of content, a whole lot of interviews, didn't listen to a whole lot of his music, but I think it's safe to say that he wasn't far enough removed from the environment. When you're from the environment, when you're from Chirac, I mean, infamously, famously, we know what Chirac is. We know what the politics are, the street politics, and we know, and you don't have to be from that environment. You could be from a similar environment and understand retaliation is a must. Like that shit goes all the way back to like the Hot Boys and, you know, New Orleans and you know, Uptown and all of that shit that I grew up listening to when I was a kid. Durk didn't see any other way. Coming from where he comes from, being conditioned to behave the way he behaves, he didn't see any other outcome. So from the outside, you're gonna have an outpouring of people outcrying, why'd he do it? He was so stupid. Why'd he do it? He was so stupid. And then you gotta think about, again, back to the sequence of events, think about what actually happened. In 2019, Durk and Von were arrested for an attempted murder, for a shooting and a robbery. The amount of money was $30,000. This happened in Atlanta. So he'd already felt the fire. He'd already felt the flame, and that wasn't enough to be a deterrent. That wasn't enough to stop him from moving forward with the murder for hire plot eventually. But we'll get to that. So you have 2019, high profile shooting. Then in 2020, you have Von get killed. And then following that, Durk's brother, D-Thang, he gets killed. So he's involved in the shooting. His artist, his man, his protege, he gets killed. His brother D-Thang gets killed. Then later on in 2021, Durk is involved in a home invasion. Durk and his woman, India, they're involved in a home invasion where they're the victims of a home invasion and gunfire was exchanged. So despite the success, despite the rise, the ascent of Durk, right? Him blowing up, basically, he was still 1 foot in, 1 foot out, if anybody was ever 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You know, similar to Tupac, similar to XXXTentacion. When you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out, when you're not that far removed from the life, there's not enough distance between you and your past. There's not enough distance between you and your actions for you to escape the repercussions. And he didn't escape the repercussions. The killing of Lil Pop happened in 2022. 2 years later, what do we have? We have Durk looking at life in prison. Hopefully that doesn't happen. but it don't look good right now. I was trying to understand the events, and while doing my research, I was also trying to connect the dots because Rondo is from Savannah, Durk is from Chicago. What's the connection? Like what would even lead? Like I was really looking for any evidence of there being any direct friction, any direct static between Rondo and Durk. And I didn't find any. Maybe it exists, but I didn't find it in the research I did. So let's focus on the murder in question, the murder of Lil Pop. This shit was done with 2 left feet, all thumbs, like just Steve Urkel shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I might be showing my age by making that reference, but this shit was completely fumbled. So first of all, there was a paper trail, and that's the main thing. That's ultimately the main thing. Without snitching, without self-snitching, which Durk is also guilty of because he was on wax on commercial records talking about what happened between Rondo and Von and Lil Tim and how #he's gonna slide for Von. So focusing on the murder itself, the shooters booked flights to LA using credit cards that belong to Durk. Strike number 1. The shooting is committed in broad daylight, and there's surveillance footage of the shooters, the gunners, following Rondo and Lil Pop throughout the day. You have that. And then the real motherfucking elephant in the room, OTF Jam, and I want to focus on this, I want to point this out. OTF Jam has been identified as the snitch. He's the one, he's the I'm telling, I'm tattle-telling, nigga, I'm telling. He's the one pointing the finger at Durk. Now, what's been reported or misreported is that he had been wearing a wire for 12 years. He was not wearing a wire. It makes me laugh because it's like, come on, man. He wasn't wearing a wire for 12 years. He served 12 years for attempted murder. He wore a wire while he was in the OTF camp for several years. What several? 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know how many years. But you're hearing a lot of YouTubers say that he was wearing, a wire for 12. He wasn't wearing a wire for 12 years. He wore a wire for several years. But that's bad enough. But OTF Jam, so you take the events, you take what happened to Von, the connection to Rondo, and you have the pressure. You have several shootings, you have home invasions, you have the murder of Durk's brother. I think all of these events, all of this shit led to him feeling like, on top of, the conditioning. Remember, this is a nigga that's from the shit. He's from Chicago. So all of that shit just led to him feeling like, I have to get back. If for no other reason than for my reputation, for my ego, for my hood, for my set. So I don't know, man, it's looking real bad for Durk right now. Again, he's looking at life, if not the death penalty. But because it's a federal case, it probably won't result in the death penalty, but it's definitely, it looks scary. It's scary hours right now. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Why do you think Durk did it? Do you think, obviously he threw it all away, or right now it seems like he threw it all away. But let me know what you think on _Wallace TV. Out.